Hi there, a very warm welcome to Coding Techniques again. Today we are going to work with episode 11 of our Uber Eats application where we are going to build the items page, which is a very nice design as you can see out there in the screen. So we are going to design that up today and we will also apply a few optimization into our code. So I know you must be very eager to jump into the designing part, but before that I want to tell you again that there is a limited period offer that is going on in my course, which is on Ionic with Firebase and Capacitor, which is based on Angular. So this course is available on Udemy. The link is there in the description. Do check that out if you haven't enrolled in that as of now. Make sure you enroll it if you like it. Alright? So with that being said, let's start our video now. So now you can see we are going to continue our Uber Eats application with episode 11 where we are going to create our items page. So you have already seen the design in the thumbnail and in the intro too. So let's get started with this. So this is the setup which we have done in our episode 10. So now I'm going to proceed ahead. Let me just close everything and open our code. I'll go to the home page at first. Now in the home page, well, I have to go to the items page. We already have created the items page. Routing and everything is already set in our tabs routing module, which you can see out here for the items. Where is it? Out here. Alright. Now how do we have to go to that particular page? Well, from my home page, if I have to go out there, then, well, out here, if I click on the restaurant, any item of that particular restaurant, the whole card actually, if I click on that, or I can give it on the card also if, or I should give it out here. I think out here it's gonna be better. So I'll give it out here. I'll use router link. So router link, L will be capital, and now this will be equals to an array, well, where I'm going to have at first a slash, which I think it's better to give. If you don't give also, then also it's fine, but I would prefer to give that because we want to give the full URL. So I'll start from the tabs. Then now after the tabs, what do we have to do out here in order to go to the items page and pass the ID of that particular restaurant, whichever we are clicking? In order to do that up, well, we have to change a bit in our tabs routing module. So I'll go out here and I'll change this particular path to, let me call it restaurants, or you can call any with any name. So I'll just give restaurants, then slash, then I need to pass the dynamic ID, whichever you click. So how do we pass that up? We pass it in this particular manner, colon, then ID. ID is the identifier name which we will be triggering out there. Alright. So this is what we are going to pass. And now we will pass the same URL out there. I'll show you how. So I'll go back to the home page and out here, well, I'll pass restaurants. Then the next one, it's going to be the ID. So which ID we are going to pass? Favorite.id, because that is the key out here. So favorite ? ID. That's what I'm going to pass out here, but this will not be a string, it will be a variable. So I'll pass it in this particular manner. Alright, and I'll just close it so that we can have the full screen, right? So now this is done and I'll copy the same thing and paste it in the offers also. So out here I'll paste the same code, except this one will be different. It's going to be offer because out here we have offer. Alright, now this is done. In the nearby also, well, I'll paste it up, and out here I'm going to have this particular item. Alright, now let's check it out. If I click on it, I'll click outside to close this particular popover, and I'll click on this stay fit. Let's see what happens. I'm getting redirected to the items page. And what is the URL? Let me just click on it. I want to see the whole URL. As you can see, it is restaurants, or let me just maximize it up. So it is tabs/restaurants/1. Alright, so 1 is the ID which we can see out there, so it is dynamic. If I click on anything else, let me just show you up. I'll just go back because there is no back button out here as of now. We have not created that up. So I'll just go to the stay fit 1. I'll click on it and let's check the ID now. Now you can see the ID is 2. Alright, so this is how it is working. We can pass different unique IDs directly out there in the URL in this particular manner. Alright, now we have to work on our items page because out here everything is working fine. You can click anywhere and you will get to that particular restaurant menu. Now let's go to our items page and design the same. Now here I already have an Ion header. So in this Ion header, we already have Ion toolbar. We need a back button. So I'll have out here Ion button. The slot will be start, and within this I'm going to have the back button. So I'll use Ion back button, where I'm going to pass the default href to be /tabs/home. Alright, okay, the spelling is wrong out here, buttons. Now it is fine. Let's check it out. I'll click on it and the back button is showing up. So as of now it is fine. Then I need another button. I will have Ion buttons, slot to be end, and I'll have out here a button. So I'll use Ion button, whose shape will be round, the color will be light, fill will be solid, and I'll close this. And within this I'll have only the icon. So I'll have Ion icon, whose slot will be icon only, because we are only using the icon. And let me have a size to be small, or let me just have the same size only. Let's keep it in this particular manner only. And the name of it will be HUD outline. Alright, let's check it out. I'll click on it. Okay, this is looking weird. Why is that color coming up? Let me have the size to be small out here. So I'll give size to be small. Check it out. Alright, that is coming up. If I give this to be clear, I don't want it to be clear. Well, the shape round is not working or what? Okay, actually I gave out here Ion button. It should be buttons. My mistake. Now it is looking fine. I'll just keep this default size. I'll remove this. Alright, now it is fine. You can have the smaller one. I think smaller one was looking nice. So I'll just undo it. Yeah, this size is okay for the heart shape. I think this is fine. So this is done, and out here, well, we are going to have the restaurant name. So in order to get that, well, let's go to our TypeScript, and out here we will have something in our ng on init. So in the ng on init, I'll create a constant at first, which I'll name it as id, which will be equals to this dot route dot. What is route? We haven't defined anything. We have to inject it up in our constructor to use it. So private route, which will be of activated. Where is it? Let me type it down. Activated route. This is the one. I'll hit enter, and this is imported automatically. Alright, that is what we are going to use in order to get that particular ID. So this dot route dot snapshot. Now you can see suggestion is coming up. Dot paramap dot get, and out here you have to pass the name. Whatever you're passing out there, colon ID we have passed in the routing. That is the name that we have to pass out here. So it will be a string. I'll pass this ID. Alright, in this particular manner. If you pass any other name out here, let me just show you up. If you pass out here name, colon name, then out here in the items, out here you have to pass name. Then only it's going to work. Otherwise it's not going to work. Now I'm simply going to console that up and see whether we get the ID or not. Let's check it out. So I'll open this up, and we will see out here in the console log. You can see this ID is coming up, right? 1 is coming up. And where it is coming up, if I click on it, as you can see out here, it is showing up. Alright, so this is working. That's great. Let me mess this up. Alright, now let's go ahead and have our whole data. But before that, I have to pass a condition out here that if this ID does not exist, then what am I going to do? I'll simply navigate back, and for that I'll be using the Nav Controller. So out here I'll have private Nav Control NavCtrl from Nav Controller, and this is the one that is coming up. I'll just hit enter, and it is getting imported automatically. Fine. And I have to pass out here a comma, otherwise this will give me an error. Now I can use it up. Simply I'll just type this dot nav control dot back function. I'll simply call it up out here. That's it. And then I'm simply going to return that. That means I will not go ahead. It will just simply go back and terminate this function out here. Alright, that's what it meant. And if this ID exists, then what am I going to do? Well, I'll initialize to a global variable. So I have to create a global variable out here, which will be ID of type any. It can be a string, it can be a number, anything it is. Well, I'll keep options open for everything. So this dot ID will be equals to this constant ID. Alright, and once that is done, what am I going to do? Well, I need to initialize my restaurants, or actually the restaurant data. We need to get it, right? And I need to create it out here. This should be an object. Let me give it of type any. That's gonna work. Now I need to initialize this data. How I can do that up? Well, I have initialized my data in the homepage.ts. All the data is present out here. I don't want to call the same data again and again, right? I will not initialize each and everything out there all the time. That is not a good coding practice. So what am I going to do? I'll create not a function actually, the service for that, which I'll name it as API service. Let me create that up. Ionic G. I'll create a service within my services folder, and then I'll create a folder called API, within which we will have the API service. Alright, this is created. Now in this particular API service, what am I going to have? Let me show you up. So I'll go to this API service which you just created. Let me minimize this up. Okay, I have to minimize this one. Services, API service, and out here I'll simply paste it out here. This is the whole thing that I'm going to have. You can get it from my source code which I've already shared. The link is in the description. So this is the all restaurants list which I'm having out here. Then we have the category list. Alright, then we have the all items list. Now in the home page, go to my home page from here. Out here, well, I have lots of data which is getting repeated because I want the categories to be called from the API service. Alright, now for that, what am I going to do? Well, I can get this data directly from the API service. Let me just check it out. What all things I have out here. Everything is the same. All items also we will be using in our items page, but in all restaurants I have the all restaurants, but we are using something different in our home page, which is for the favorites one, for the offers one, for the nearby one. So what am I going to do? Instead of having it out here, let me just copy it up and I'll keep it in my services, or you can have it out there only. Fine. It's good that we call everything from the services, I think will be better. Simply remove this particular thing. The nearby array is present out here now. Similarly, I'll simply remove this part. For the favorites one, minimize it up. Offers also the same, and nearby. Fine. So these three I've defined out here in the API service only, so that we can call everything from the API service in our home page also. Well, you can have the banners also, but I'll keep the banners as of now. You can do it if you want. So I'll just call private API from our API service and I'll import it up. So it is imported, as you can see out here at the top. Now I can simply initialize it up. How? Well, this dot categories will be equals to this dot API service dot, I can directly call the category. Fine. Or you can create a function where you can return the categories. That I think is a better approach. But if you're going with this particular thing, then also I think it's fine. Won't create a problem for you. Alright. So out here also I'll just have this dot API dot favorite. Fine. And if you want to make a copy of it, well, you can simply have array in this particular manner. Then triple dots. That will make a copy of it. Fine. That's completely up to you how you want it. Both ways are fine. This is just to make a copy and this is just directly passing the values out. Alright. This dot API dot offer. And the last one is this dot API dot nearby. So as you can see, it's pretty simple now to work with. Alright. Let me make a copy of each and everything. And the last one I'll keep it in this particular manner so that you can understand. Or the last one I think I should change, and I'll keep the categories or all restaurants to be the same one. I think that's gonna be better. Let me change it up. I think now this is fine. We'll get the same kind of data after we remove this error what is popping up out here, and that will go away when we have the API service out here. So let's quickly have our API service injected. Sorry, it's gonna be API service and it is imported automatically. Fine. Once that is done, I can simply have this dot API dot all restaurants. I'll simply have it out here. Fine. Now the error is gone. Let's go back and check it up whether we are getting the same data or not. So as you can see, everything is the same. No problem at all. Everything is working pretty nice. So if I go inside the snippet, I can come out here. Now we have the restaurant data. And if I want the categories data, well, I can have directly. Let me have the categories out here. So categories of type any array. Let's give it in the same manner, which will be an empty array as of now. Then I'm going to initialize it out here. This dot categories, which will be equals to this dot API dot category. Fine. But there is a problem. I think you might have figured out. Well, this won't be all restaurants because we don't want the array list. We just want that particular restaurant data whose ID we are going to pass. So out here, I'm going to use a find function where I'm going to look for the ID. So x, any value, any variable I'm passing out here, which is holding the object. So x.id. If it is equals to, or you can have the triple check or strictly checking if you give triple equals, but I'll check it in this similar manner. If it is equals to the ID that we are going to pass out here, or we are getting out here. All right. Only that data we want. That's it. And we can simply console that up check it out whether we are getting the same data or not. This dot restaurant. Alright, now you can see out here I'm getting the restaurant data directly. So this is working nicely, right? Now what is the next thing that we want? Well, we need items too. So at first I need to create the items array out here, initialize it up. Alright, this is declared now, and now I'll simply call out here this dot items will be equals to this dot API dot all items, where, or not in this particular manner, actually I need to use a filter function out here because we want to filter based on that particular restaurant. So out here X, again I'm using that up. I can use any name if you want. So I'll be using the UID equals to the ID that is being passed, or that is we are getting in the URL. So UID is basically the restaurant ID that is being passed out here. Where is the service? Let me just show you up quickly in the all items. So as you can see out here, this is the UID that I'm talking about. So you can get this data from my source code, which I've already told you. Now I'll go back to my items page. So this is what we are getting. If you want to console that up, I can do that up. I'll just move it towards the bottom and have the items out here because I have already checked the restaurant. Let me just show you the other one. Now you can see 11 records are coming up. That's great. Huge number, right? That's pretty awesome. So it's nice. Now we can work around with the designing part. So at first I need to change this particular thing out here. Instead of the items, I'm going to have the restaurant name. So I'll get it from restaurant (name). Question mark is just for the safety. Whether if you don't have any data, then also it won't give you any error, right? So if I click out here, let's see what happens. You can see I'm getting stay fit. If I click on anything else, let's see this stay fit 1, I'm getting stay fit 1. If I click on Kolkata role, I'm getting stay fit. Why? That is wrong, isn't it? Alright, I got it. That is happening because I'm calling all restaurants from this particular all restaurants array. Alright, and that is the problem. So this won't work properly if I hit on Kolkata role. So what I have to do, basically, let me just show you up. In the services, in the API service, what I need to do in the all restaurants, I can have something out here called favorite or something. Just check it out. Kolkata role. Let me minimize it up. Otherwise, this is going to create a problem and you won't like it. So Kolkata role, I'll have something out here called favorite true. Let me make it in that particular manner so that I can identify out there whether it is a favorite one or not. Fine, I'll copy it up. And what is the other one that is in the favorite list? Okay, that is in the top offers actually. Top offers, we have Kolkata role, then stay fit 1, and stay fit also actually is present out there. That's pretty great actually. So we have actually all the data 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so in order to have that up, I'll leave it in this particular manner. I'll just do one thing out here. In fact, I don't need all this 3 thing, or should I have that up? Distance, it is already defined. I think, yeah, it is already defined. So I don't think I need any of those. I'll simply comment this up using command plus /. And in my home page, well, what am I going to have out here? I'm going to have all restaurants. In the offer, or not in the offers actually. Let me have that up for the time being. And in fact, I will directly have this data instead of making a copy because we are not calling the exact data. In the favorites, definitely I'm going to have that same data only. Okay, all restaurants. I know you might be thinking, what am I doing again and again? Well, sometimes we make some mistakes as I'm making it actually live for you guys. That is why these problems are coming up. I haven't tried it earlier. So for the nearby also, I'll have this all restaurants data only. Let me have that up. And for the offers one, I'll change it a bit. What I'll do, so in order to make it sorted by descending order, because our Kolkata role is at the bottom, so what I'll do, instead of this code, I will have something different. I will create a constant at first where I'm going to make a copy of this all restaurants property, and then I'm going to use the sort function where we are going to have the first one and the second object. Alright, if the second object ID is minus the first one is greater, then the second one will show up at first. That's how we are going to sort that up. That is what I am doing out here. And as the ID is a string, so I'm passing %% out here, and that's how it's going to work properly. Fine. Now you can see the data is coming up out here. This offers is in the sorted form, right? And the other ones are in the same manner as it was earlier. Now, if I don't make a copy of it, then I'll show you what happens if I don't make a copy. Now you will see what is the problem if I don't make a copy. As you can see, all the data is transformed into the sorted one, the favorites one, the offers one, and all the other ones. All right. So that is why you need to make a copy of each and everything. That is a good practice out here. Fine. So out here also, if you want, I would suggest to make a copy of it if you're not using a function. I'll leave it up to you. You will learn by your mistakes. Alright, if you do so. So this is how we are working. Now everything is fine. This is sorted, and let's go to our items page quickly. So out here the data is dynamic. Everything is working pretty nicely out here. Instead of the filter, I will make a copy of it out here in this particular manner. Fine. Now the error, there won't be any error. And what am I going to do out here? I'll simply cut this up and have it somewhere else in another function, which I'll name it as get data. All right, because every function should have only one responsibility. So this is where we are going to initialize all the data, and out here I will have this dot id instead of the id directly. So the code is optimized now, and even this part also, if you want, you can have it somewhere else. So I'll just cut this, and what am I going to do? Get id function I'm going to create out here, and we'll paste this code out there directly. Fine. Now I'm simply going to call both this function in my ng on in it. First get id, then I'll call this dot get data. Alright. Okay, I think this is done. Let's check it out. I'll click out here, I'll click on it, and the snippet is showing out here. So everything is working nicely, and the code is optimized a lot. Now we need to work with the design part. Finally, we are into the content and content part. Let's do it out here. Now at first I will have the background image. So I'll use a div out here, to which I will pass the style dot background image to be equals to URL, and within that I'm going to have the restaurant dot cover image, and then I'm going to have the closing bracket. I think this is done. Let's check it out. I'll click out here. Not showing anything because we haven't given the size of it. So let me give the size in my SCSS, but I have to pass some class to it. So let me pass a class. Otherwise, if I use any other div, then it's going to style that up too. So I'll just name it as, I think, BG image, background image. All right, let's have it out here in the in content. I'm going to access .bg image class, where I'm going to pass background repeat to be no repeat, then background position to be center, background size to be cover, and a height of, I think, 20 VH will be fine. I don't want much bigger. And now you can see this is showing up. I think this is fine. Let's not do anything else as of now. Alright, let's get back to our HTML, and after this particular div, what we are going to have, I'm going to use another div, or instead of the div, let me have an iron grid. I think that will be better because I'm going to use row column. So iron grid will be better. So within the iron grid, I'm going to have an iron row, and within this iron row, let me have an iron column. Even you can use iron item also, but I think the row and column will be better, and I'll give it a size of 12. All right. Now within this column, what am I going to have? Well, at first I'm going to have my restaurant name, or I think I should give it out here only in another row. Let me give it out here, that's fine. Restaurant dot name. Then I will have another column where I'm going to have few other stuff related to the restaurant data. So out here I'm going to have the rating. So for that I'm going to use an iron icon where I'm going to pass name to be star. The color will be dark. And you want to see the design, right? Let me go to that particular design so that you can see the changes, right? As you can see out here, the name is showing up. The star icon is showing up. Now out here I need to pass the rating. So for that I'll be using an iron text. Let me cut this up. I'll use an iron text where I'm going to pass the color to be dark, and out within this I will have a bold tag because it will be little bold, and I'm going to paste this out here. Instead of the name, I'm going to have the rating, and as you can see, rating is coming up. That's looking fine. We will have this bigger one, not to worry, I'll do it. Once this is done, I need the cuisines also, but before that I want something else. So I'll have a span out here where I'm going to pass an emoji or a dot, bigger dot. So for that the HTML code is something like this, and %8226 semicolon. Now you can see a small dot is coming up, right? I want that. And after this dot, I'll be having another iron text I'll copy it up and paste it out here. And this time I'm going to call the restaurant cuisines. So get cuisines function, I'll call it out here, where I'm going to pass restaurant dot cuisine. Fine. And I'm going to call this function. I think in the homepage we have already done this up. Not in the homepage actually. I think in the component we have done that up. Restaurant component. I'll simply copy this up and have it in my items page out here. Alright. Well, the errors are gone. Clear the other stuff. Now it is fine. Let's go to this particular page. Everything is fine. Let's go out here and see. Yes, we do have the cuisines out here. Now after the cuisines, what else do I need out here? Well, I'll be showing the price for 2, and for that I'll be using the same thing only. So I'll simply copy it up and paste it out here. Only thing that's gonna change out here is the restaurant dot. It's gonna be price, and after this I'm going to just type 4.2. Alright, and out here I need the rupee symbol, which I'll get it from the home page. Let me get it from here, not in here. Out here I have used it up. Yes. Let me simply copy it up and have it in my item page HTML. Well, this is done. Pretty simple, right? But I have to go to that particular page again and again. Now it is showing up, but the design is not looking that great. What I'll do out here, or in fact this one, let me pass it, cut this up, and I'll pass it within an H1 or H2 tag. Alright, see, to go to that particular page again and again. H2 tag is fine, I think, for the time being. Alright, let's keep it in the similar manner. Then out here, what am I going to have? Well, I will make some padding out here in the span. So I'll pass a class, let me call it emoji, and I will have the same class out here in this span also. Now let's go to our SCSS and work with that out here. So I will use it within my iron grid or iron row. Let me have directly that part. Iron row, iron column. Within this I'll have the emoji class, where I'm going to use padding to be 0 and let's say 3 pixel to the left and right side, and to the top and bottom 0 definitely. Well, I think now this is looking nice, better than earlier, but I want some padding out here also. So what am I going to do for that? Well, in this particular iron column I'm going to pass a class out here, iron padding start. Now this is looking nice, right? And I can have the same class out here, or in fact let me cut this up. I'll pass it in the iron row. Do this up, we cut it, and I'll pass on the iron row. That will be better. I need it everywhere. Now I think this is fine. I'll have everywhere. Alright, now I will have another iron column, so I'll simply copy it up and I'll have it out here. Now within this particular thing, what am I going to have? Well, in the first one, I'm going to show the delivery time. So delivery in restaurant dot delivery time, and I will have a minute out here. There will not be any V tag, bold tag. I don't need it out here. Fine, this is perfect. And I won't have any icon out here. Or should I give it? Well, I can have the time one. That might look good. Let me check that out. And I will have another icon out here. Alright, where I'm going to pass the location outline one. Alright, the color will be medium, not dark. Out here also it's going to be medium. And this one also will let me have time outline. Fine. And out here I don't need this particular cuisines. Instead I need the distance. So I will have out here, I'll just remove this bold tag, and I'll have out here restaurant dot distance, and after this I will have KMS away. Fine, that's gonna look nice. I'll simply remove it up. Let's check the design. You haven't seen that up because it is redirecting to the home page every time. Well, there are a few errors, that is why it is doing that. Not a problem. I think everything is looking nice out here. If you want to resize it up, you can do that up. So I think this is looking nice, but still I want this particular thing to be bigger and bold. Or is it fine? We pass a strong tag or bold tag, whether this shows a bit bigger or looks a bit bold. Yes, I think this is fine. This is better than earlier, and this is fine. This is also fine. Alright, now once this is done, what is the next thing that we need to have? Well, we need to define the items out here, which is the most interesting part. So let's work with that. So I'll use an iron list for that, and within this iron list I'm going to loop it up ng4 let category of categories, because we want the categories at first, and according to the categories we want the restaurant menu. Fine, which is belonging to that particular category. Now within this iron list, at first I'm going to have the iron list header, where I'm going to pass an iron label. Within this I'm going to pass the category name in this particular manner, because we already have the category array, so we can directly have this up. Now it's going to show up out here. Let's check it out. As you can see, all the category list is coming up. Now after this, well, I'm going to use an ng container, which is an Angular tag. So I can use it up, which is used for looping the item list out here. So let item of items. And within this ng container, we are going to check few conditions. That is why I've given ng container, because it's not going to take any space. If I use any other tag out here, well, that will take some space, which won't look nice. So out here, I'm going to use an ion item where I'm going to pass an ng if condition to check whether category id equals to item dot question mark dot category id. So those items which are belonging to this particular category will only show up in this particular item, or I would say in this particular list. Then it's going to create another list for another category. That's what it is doing out here. So if I have that up, and out here in the ion item, I will have lines to be full. All right. Now within this ion item, let me have some content, then I'll show you up, or let me just show you up as of now. Okay, as of now, you can see something is coming up, but we need to show the proper data out here. All right. So out here, what am I going to have? I'm going to use an ion label, and within this ion label, I'm going to use an ion text, to which I'll pass a class called item, because this will be our item name. So we want to design it up a bit more. That is why I'm giving this up. And out here, I'm going to have the dynamic item name. So item question mark dot name, check the name. All right. As you can see, name is coming up. That's pretty awesome. And after that, I'm going to have a p tag where I'm going to show the price of. So out here also, I'll use a class called price to design that up. And within this p tag, I'm going to use an ion text where I'm going to pass the color to be dark. Otherwise, p tag will have its own color. I don't want that. Dark. Close this tag. And within this, I'm going to pass not restaurant, item question mark dot price. All right. And I want this rupee symbol also. If you want to pass dollar symbol, you can pass it up. All right. This is done. And then I'm going to copy it up again, paste it up. And here I'm going to have the description for that particular item. I don't need this rupee symbol. The color will be, well, I think I don't need ion text because I want the light color, which is of the p tag already. So I can remove it up. But for our p tag, I'm going to pass few class. So out here, I'm going to pass ion text wrap so that we can see the full text. Otherwise, it's going to wrap that up to a certain extent. I want the whole text to show up. Also, I want the text to be justified. Or let me just show you up at first how it looks like. Okay, let me go out here. As you can see, this is coming up, and I want to justify that up so that it can take the space properly. So for that, I'll be using ion text justify. All right, let's check it out. As you can see, now there is little more gapping out here, which might look nice if you have a bigger description. Now, I'll also pass a condition out here because sometimes what happens, you don't have any description for a particular product. So out here, I'm just going to check ng if item.desc. If it is available, then only it's going to show up. Otherwise, it's not going to show up, so that it won't take any unnecessary space. Fine. Now lastly, well, after this ion label, so I'll use an ion thumbnail out here for showing the image. So ion thumbnail, I'll pass the slot to be end, and we'll pass a condition also. It will show up only if we have restaurant, or not actually restaurant. It will be item cover. Item the question mark dot cover. If it exists, then only it's going to show up. Otherwise, we won't see that out. Out here, you can use img also if you want. That's going to be better. Let's check it out. img. Within this, I'll pass the source tag, which will be dynamic, where I'm going to pass item question mark dot cover. That's it. All right. Let's check it out. And as you can see, this is showing up, but we need to design a bit more. So I will go to the SCSS now to work with that. So in the ion content, after this ion row, I'll call my ion list. And within this ion list, I'll call my ion item, where we have the ion label, to which on the ion text, what am I going to do? Well, I'll pass few styling to that, which is this particular item class. All right. So I have already declared it up. Let me use this up. Or am I using ion text anywhere else? Let me just check it out. Maybe out here. Only in one place I am using ion text, so I can directly have the ion text. But if you use something else out here, then it's going to be a problem. Okay, I'm using it out here also, so I don't want to mess it up, definitely. And that is why I'm using this particular class. So okay, where I was, yeah, out here, I'm using this particular class in this particular manner. If you don't give this ion text, then also it's fine. Particular class, you can define it in this particular manner. If passing ion text definitely means that this class will only apply to the ion text. All right, that is what we have done out there. Now out here, I'm simply going to pass the font weight to be, let me give 450. Now it is fine, little bold. I'm liking it. And then we have to work with our iron thumbnail. So what I have to do with my iron thumbnail out here? At first, I'm going to pass width and height of 10 VH. So width then height of 10 VH. Alright, okay, this will be a colon. Now it's fine. Now you can see it is looking little bigger. Then I'm going to work with the iron IMG tag, and out here I'm going to pass a border radius of, let's say 5 pixels will be better, and a height and width of 100% so that it can take the 100% height and width. If you don't give also, then also it's taking, but still to be on the safe side, you just pass it up. Alright, now the design is looking awesome. As you can, if you just scroll this, well, it's looking pretty good, great actually. We have all the item lists showing up nicely, right? And lastly, well, for the price class, I need to work with that. So we have it in our iron label only, right? You just confirm it. We have it within the iron label. So let me pass it out here only. Dot price. Within this, I'm going to pass some padding towards the top and bottom of say 3 pixel and to the left and right 0, so that I can have little spacing out here. Now it is looking nice, isn't it? So this is little blackish color, dark color, and this is the default P tag color, which is lighter. I think this is fine. So with this, we have successfully designed our item screen, which is looking nice according to me. If I just go back and I will just click on Kolkata rule, I will have that particular item data. As I do not have any menu out here, so it is not showing up, just the category data it is showing up, and you can have it checked before running the loop that if there is a category or if there is a menu item that exists within that particular category, only that categories will show up, otherwise it won't show up. And you can work with that also. If you want that up, let me know in the comment section. I'll make a separate video on that, or I will append that up in the next episode. That's completely fine. Alright, so I think the design is looking nice out here. Let me open the design where we have the data. Alright, or if you want the data, you can pass it in the API service out there. You can create that particular data, manipulate the data, and you can have that particular list out here. Fine. So this is looking awesome according to me. Let me know in the comment section whether you like this video or not. So there are a lot of things that we can do with this particular design now. Maybe in the next class, I will show you how to make a parallax header out here, because this design, well, it's not looking that great. In Android it's fine, but for the iOS I think we can work around with this stuff. So I'll make a parallax header of this thing, and then out here we can have something for our categories. I'll show that if I click on that particular category, then that particular items will show up. You can work with that. Alright, so let me check it out, what all things I can do, and I'll definitely make a video on that particular thing next time. Let me know in the comment section if you want something else out here. Alright, so with this, I'll wrap up this lecture out here. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button to subscribe to the channel if you are new out here. That will help the channel grow and will help you to get a lot of contents free of cost out here. Alright, so with that being said, see you guys next time.